Scorched Earth is universally known as one of the hardest maps to start on in Ark due to the heat and the amount of dangerous creatures that spawn in easy zones. But that's not gonna stop me from committing to challenge myself to beat the Alpha Manticore within 5 days. It might be hard as most people spend days in early game, but well, we'll never know if it's possible unless someone tries to achieve it. And without any further ado, let's get straight into it. I gave myself a proper name. I spawned in Midlands 4. I played on this map a lot in the past, but this is the first time in my life that I spawned this close to the river. I usually die trying to run here, but this time I got blessed. I wasted no time and started farming fiber while running. And of course I learned some engrams. And oh, by the way, I'm using Dino Depot mode in this playthrough. Anyways, I started punching trees, then crafted myself a pickaxe. After that I went back to farming, but this weird green light showed up in my screen. And it stayed on for the next minute until I put away my pickaxe. Thankfully it didn't appear when I pulled it out the second time, so we're good. Well, not really, this is just gonna be as annoying as the Managarmers from Lost Colony. That aside though, I made an axe and a torch, as well as some clothes. I got a little worried cause I know raptors and wolves spawn where I'm at right now, so I learned some thatch structures, lowered my harvest rates and started farming thatch, wood and fiber, before finding a high level Lymantria. I'm really glad they spawn in here cause I'll need to tame one ASAP to get wyverns. But that'll have to wait for now because I got no narcotics. Anyways, I made myself a small 2x2 base just to keep the wildlife away. And I made it right in time because a sabertooth started circling around my base. And that thing had a baby. I was kinda trapped in here until I killed this creature, so I crafted as much spears as possible, then used the completely realistic mechanic of hitting a creature who's peeking through the wall. But that kitty was smart, and it ran away, so I chased him and hit on his kid to grab its attention. Pause. Anyways, I got a lot of hide and claimed the baby. After that, the obelisk's curse came back, but I quickly realized that moving your mouse quickly removes it immediately. Well, there was a raptor close by, so I sneaked out and ran the opposite way to get fiber to make bolas and a bow and arrows. And this made it very easy to kill the raptor. Thank you for your kind donation, sir. You want to be remembered. Well, I started cooking up some meat and unlocked metal tools. The only problem is I need to find a metal node since rocks here give you sand instead of metal. I don't know whose idea this was. The only thing I could do really was make a forge, but I'm missing hide, so unfortunately I had to sacrifice this jerboa. I'll save your eyes having to watch this. And from now on, I'm not gonna include every time the obelisk's curse shows up cause I'm sure it can be really annoying for some of y'all. No need to thank me, just enjoy the rest of the video. Anyways, I continued farming till my tiger was fully grown, which means we can go get hide together. But bro was stuck on a rock he wasn't even touching. This game makes so much sense. Well, we ventured deeper into the desert and killed a 150 raptor which had a baby. And that's a no-brainer, of course I'm claiming it. Damn, starting on Scorched Earth is never usually this easy. Well, I then went back home to let my raptor grow up, and after breaking a few more rocks, I finally got myself a forge and a bed. I still needed to make a mortar and pestle, which took me some time. After that, I named my sabertooth Mint, because just look at that thing, it's freaking green. Well, I unlocked the raptor saddle and started making some drugs. And if you're wondering why I have tinto berries on my hotbar, it's just to prevent pegos from stealing anything important. So I looked up where to find metal nodes close by on Ark Unity since the only places I know are filled with rexes and other creatures. There are apparently some nodes spread in the river, but after searching for a really long time, I only found one metal node. And it was pretty well hidden, which just gave me 6 pieces. I'm not sure if the website has some mistake or the other nodes are hidden in the ground because I really did not find any other nodes where there should have been. I found a Titanosaur dancing, replaced my Sabertooth who just died, and then found another node really far away, which gave me just enough metal for a smithy and a pickaxe. After that, I looted this blue drop and started smelting the metal I got. After it was done smelting, I was able to make a smithy and finally craft a metal pickaxe. So now I can get a ton of metal. All I need is just one node. I continued looking for metal without having any luck and risked my life with these Rexes. But luckily they aren't too hard to outrun. I really feel like either the website has an issue or the metal's just hidden underground because I go to the exact coordinates and find nothing. And after a really long time of searching, I found what I thought was a metal node. But little did I know is that this was a trap made by this stupid rabbit. And why on earth is a rabbit aggressive? I was gonna make this a hardcore video, but this thing ruined everything. Well, after that disaster, I spawned and ran all the way back to my creatures. Man, this map is truly beautiful. The lighting's amazing. Well, the bunny was stuck in here, so this was my chance to take my stuff. And since I couldn't find any nodes, I decided to just head back to base. When I got attacked by a bunch of summer drakelings. So I whistled passive and we got home with no losses. Once back, I crafted a raptor saddle and a few bolas because I'm gonna head into some dangerous areas to get metal. So I ran on my raptor to the nearest mountain and luckily enough, nothing bad have spawned here yet, so I was easily able to find a metal node, mine it, and run back to base without any encounters. Now with the metal problem aside, I need a faster way of getting narcoberries to make narcotics, and what's a better way than killing this mother beside base and kidnapping her child? I still gotta wait for it to grow though, so in the meantime, I decided to tame a jerboa. So I gave it a few shots with the tranks I have, and it was asleep. Not really sure how much use they'll be to me since I haven't played on here in 2 years and forgot what each animation means. For those of you who don't know, jerboas can tell you the upcoming weather based on their animation, and those can be sandstorms, thunderstorms, heat wave, or rain. Well, back to what I was doing. I crafted a Morellatop saddle and farmed fiber and narcoberries by hand, then made literally one piece of narcotics. By then, the jerboa was tamed, and its colors really looked pretty. It looked like chocolate and vanilla, which gave me an idea for its name. After that, I made a metal hatchet and a crossbow, before getting on the now fully grown Morellatops and farming a ton of narcoberries, which I immediately turned into narcotics. And since the Limantria saddle needs a lot of chitin, I got on my raptor and went on a little killing spree. But that didn't last long as I got attacked by a drakeling. Thankfully it ran away and I got back to killing creatures from jug bugs to dodeks and ankies till I got one I needed. I then found a level 125 Limantria close by and you bet I'm gonna tame it. So I sniped it with a bola and started tranking it. I guess this new mouse really improved my aim, huh? Well, the bola broke before it went to sleep, so I chased it and bola'd it again. And even though it still got freed before it went unconscious, it fell down while flying on a hill. And the spot is actually pretty safe, so I gave it some meadows and went back to base waiting. I spent the rest of day 1 farming kiting for an RG saddle, and I wanna know how on earth can a raptor pin an Anki? I have a few hundred hours in this game and didn't know about this until now. Anyways, I gave the Limantria the crops I got from the blue drop and that's the end of day 1. On day 2, I kept farming chitin while waiting for the Limantria to get tamed, when I got attacked by more summer drakelings. And after a while, another one showed up, followed by 2 more drakelings. I tried fighting, but their fire damage got me really low and I made a run for it. Unfortunately though, I ran out of stamina and they caught up. And since I can't run, I had to fight. And well, that didn't end up really well. So I started running back to base, and that thing did not leave me until my Morellatops and Sabertooth smoked it. Well, I still need to get chitin for an RG saddle, so I learned the Sabertooth saddle, split all the meat I had to spoil it, then crafted the saddle. But now I'm out of metal, so I hopped on the Sabertooth and headed towards the mountain. And now I understand why almost nobody tames those things. Like, what is this jump, bro? It's more of a lunge forward than an actual jump. Anyways, this time there were a few creatures, but I ghost past them, farmed some metal, and circled around looking for crystal, but turns out they only spawn on the top of the mountain. And while heading back, I got jumped by a pair of Microraptors. Thankfully, there was no Rex this time, and let me know in the comments if you'll remember which video that was from. Anyways, I got stunned again, but my Sabertooth took care of it this time, before getting back to base and smelting the metal. After that, I learned the stone gateway, as I'm gonna need 4 of them for an RG trap. Yes, I know I could use a foundation and 8 walls, but gateways are honestly much easier. Anyways, I farmed narcoberries then crafted narcotics before going back to rock breaking simulator. And that made me decide to go adopt a poor dodec who lost its parents due to natural causes. So I kept farming thatch and wood while it grows up. But before it did, the Lymantria was finally tamed, so I crafted the saddle and brought it home. And the first thing I did was fly up this mountain to get crystals, which I turned into Dino balls. Okay, 30 might have been overkill, but that means I won't need to make more, I hope. Well, the problem with Lymantria is their stamina and weight, so I looked for an explorer node to level up, but unfortunately I found nothing. But hey, at least the Dodec has fully grown, which means stone is not really a problem anymore. Anyways, I crafted all the gateways I need for the trap and removed gaining experience from Dino Balls. I then made a sickle to farm fiber and silk from these red flowers, which allowed me to make a full set of desert armor. And if you're wondering where I got the silica pearls from, they spawn nearby in the river. After that, I made trank arrows, then repaired and organized my stuff to set up. Oh, I almost forgot, making a water jar and an RG saddle before finally capturing all of my creatures and setting off on my Lymantria. My goal is to tame about 3 RGs and they spawn southwest of here. Why 3 RGs you may ask? And I'll tell you to just trust in the process. I had to take a few stamina breaks before reaching the RG mountain. There is another mountain in the east, but this one is closer to the Wyvern Trench, which is why I came here. See, I'm only here for high levels, cause I need the strongest RG possible for what I'm about to do, once they get tamed. And after a bit of searching, I found a 135 RG, so I got on a good spot, placed the trap, then got his attention and lured him in. But bro found his way out somehow. I tried again and this time he was in, so I closed behind him. After that, I placed a sleeping bag and started tranking it. And it's asleep. I didn't have prime meat at the moment, so I gave it some regular meat, then went down, got on my Sabertooth and started looking for babies I could kill. Eventually, I killed an isolated RG followed by flying back and giving it the 2 pieces of prime I got. And in case you haven't noticed, I'm kinda dying from the heat, so I threw vanilla and tried killing the RG babies. But they either go too close to the sleeping RG or fly too far up, so I just left them. And with my health dropping this quick, it was just a matter of time before I died. Don't worry though, I spawned right back where I placed the sleeping bag, so we're good. I still had a heat stroke for some reason, so I had no option but to go back to where I started to cool off. The heat stroke was at 27% though, so it took a really long time for it to go away. And once it did, I flew back to the RG mountain looking for another high level RG. So I picked up the trap before finding a 120. But before even doing anything, I got attacked by a stupid Tapijara with a baby. The problem is I did not even go near it or its baby. So I had to teach it a lesson. Unfortunately, the baby flew away so I couldn't claim it. Not even with the soul gun. Anyways, I constructed the trap but the RG died. Well, I later found a 130 which I easily trapped and started trying. Okay, definitely not as smooth as my other videos, but still better than the last RG. I then found a 145 RG, so I placed the trap again, but this one specifically was inside a damn rock. I don't know what witchcraft it was on, cause it came out of there. Hey, I ain't complaining though, but I've never seen that happen before. So I lured him in and got him trapped, and now it's time to get it knocked out. Once that thing was out, I gave it some raw meat and started heading back to my first RGs, since it was about to get tamed and those babies would make for a great source of prime. So the moment it got tamed, I claimed the 2 babies and slaughtered the blue one. I guess 4 prime meat is enough, so I captured its sister before getting on the RG and going to each one that's getting tamed and giving it 2 pieces of prime meat. After that, I placed my sleeping bags and dumped everything I had into my RG, then got on my Lymantria and headed west towards the Wyvern Trench. Now you might call me stupid for attempting to steal an egg with a low health Lymantria, considering the amount of Wyverns in single player, and to that I'll just tell you to watch and learn. It stopped raining and I got a heat stroke, but ain't nothing stopping me from stealing this egg. At this point, I found the first egg, so I waited patiently for it to be left alone. Jeez, I'll get cooked with this amount of wyverns. I went to the poison egg, grabbed it, and started flying away as fast as I could. I thought nothing was following me for a second, but oh boy was I wrong. I tried dodging their attacks as much as possible, and was able to make some of them aggro on an RG. My goal was just to get up this hill, but I fell a few meters short. Okay, relax everybody, I got everything under control. This is all part of the plan. I got the egg out of the trench and that's what matters. Now I just have to go get it from my dead body, so I wore my armor again and headed towards the trench. But I got attacked by a poison wyvern before reaching the bag. I lost him though using my insane skill and it went off chasing a tapijara. Well, see, I found the bag, but the issue is that wyverns were circling above me, and if you didn't know, they will aggro to you if you grab an egg from your dead body. This is gonna take quite a bit, but I'll show you exactly what to do in this situation. The determination that Wyvern had was something I've never seen before. Like, relax. I lost you 3 times and you still found your way back. But surviving with my health reaching 42 HP just proves I'm the best ARC player ever.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Okay, let's not get too ahead of ourselves here. So I finally made it back after that questionable experience and immediately gave this RG the name it deserves. Before riding another RG cause this was on the verge of dying. Well, now that I have an egg, it's a 190 by the way, I needed to find somewhere to stay near the Wyvern Trench cause I'll be there most of the time. And I already know a great spot with a water vein I lived at in my PS5 playthrough when the map first came out. I really took my time with it and built a pyramid surrounded by 101 stone gates to keep creatures out, and killed all 3 difficulties of the Manticore back to back without healing my wyverns. This is really the only picture I found where you can see some of the pyramid. My bad, I'm just too lazy to open the PS5. Anyways, back to what we were doing. It took a while of flying until I finally reached the spot. The first time I came here, I got jumped by 3 giant worms or whatever they're called. It's death worms, right? Not sure. Well, I chucked out my creatures before gathering resources to craft standing torches, which I started placing in here, and the eggs started hatching. And after a few minutes of waiting, the wyvern finally hatched. After that, I farmed some wood and stone before making and placing some stone foundations, followed by a campfire, a forge, and some other important structures. And wow, these sandstorms never disappoint, it looks so good. Anyways, I imprinted the wyvern which already got 31% from the Dino Ball, so I'm gonna be using them to imprint my wyverns from now on. Well, I looted a drop which had an oil extractor and learned the well, which needed a bit of cementing paste before I could make and place it on the water vein. Now that I don't need to use my Morella tubs to fill my water jar anymore, and my wyvern was fully grown, I needed to get a decent level Anki. Holy shit. Nah, getting another egg won't be hard, trust me. Anyways, I grabbed the Anki and dropped it back, but it got low because a group of mantis attacked it, so I killed it and set off to an empty part of the trench looking for an egg. And you would not believe what I found next. A max level poison wyvern. I immediately grabbed that thing and left with one wyvern chasing me. But the thing is, once you have a wyvern, getting eggs and outrunning other wyverns becomes really easy. I even grabbed this drop with an insane amount of salt before going back into the trench and leading a lot of wyverns out so I can take their eggs in peace. It was a level 15 fire, but I took it anyways for the collection. I obviously got chased but easily outran all of them before dipping back in and getting another fire egg. And this time it was a 155. I need a strong fire wyvern for taming a pyromane for caves since I have to carry them out of the trench to the river in the starting area to tame them. Finally, I grabbed the low level poison on the end of day 2. Okay, on day 3 I start placing stone gates around these ruins for an Anki trap, which I can easily shoot into. I then headed on my wyvern to a 140 Anki, but before reaching it, I placed the oil extractor, then grabbed the Anki and brought it all the way back, before getting on my RG and dropping it in the trap. But somehow it kept getting out, and let me not mention how long it took me just to figure out I had to pick up the torches before throwing it in and starting to trank it. Once the Anki was knocked out, I gave it a stack of midges. After that, I got on my RG and started looking for metal while the Anki was getting tamed, and like, wow, I have to stop and admire the graphics every video, man. Anyways, I didn't really find any nodes nearby, so I went back to base. Well, I won't be building this time considering I only have 5 days. And well, I got on my wyvern instead and started looking since he's much faster. And I struck the gold mine. Well, metal mine to be specific. I just really broke one node before heading back as, to be honest, I don't really need much metal right now. I started smelting it, then placed my torches again cause it's time to start hatching these eggs. I first started hatching the 155 fire as well as the 190 poison. And I mean, the fire didn't really look great, it was the same color all over his body. But I guess it's not much of an issue as he only has one job. Anyways, the 190 hatched and it was a female, so I gotta hatch more poisons till I get a male. The level 15 fire hatched and it looked beautiful with that red wing. It was this moment I realized the poison had 39 points into health and 39 points into damage. You know how rare that is for wyverns considering they don't get bonus levels when tamed? Unfortunately though, the next poison was a female, so I gotta go get more eggs. I went in the trench looking for poisons. I found a lightning egg though, which I took just to complete my collection. After that, I needed to lose all these wyverns before heading back in and getting a poison as well as a few other lightning eggs. I then headed back home and imprinted the 155 fire. I started hatching a lightning as well as the poison. The lightning looked insane and so did the poison, but it's another female. The curse from Valguero is definitely following me, man. Well, I went back to the trench and looked in the entire thing but just found a single poison egg in the entire trench. All the wyverns were out as well because of me, I guess, so I went back and hatched the egg. And this thing looked absolutely gorgeous, but 5 females in a row, man. How am I supposed to breed them? I made a smithy then died from the heat. Yeah, I don't have anywhere cool to go to. But I quickly respawned and went back to the trench. But just look at the absolute chaos happening on the screen. I grabbed the poison egg then went back. After that I relogged to get rid of this heat wave, made an Anki saddle then hatched another beautiful wyvern. But it was a female again. What am I supposed to do with 6 females and no males? There's literally 1.56% chance of me getting 6 females in a row. And somehow I did it. How does this why does this happen to me always, dog? Well, after this terrible luck, I got on my fire wyvern and went to the trench looking for a high level pyramine. I found a level 110 female and even though it's not that high of a level, I grabbed it and flew all the way to the river in the starting area just to get familiar on how to tame it. Cause it's sure been a while since I last got one of these. Anyways, the way you tame them is by dropping them in the water or throwing a water grenade on them which extinguishes their flame. Damn, I remembered Elden Ring. Anyways, once they're not on fire, you have to damage them until they roar, which means you have to mount them. You have to be quick though. The odds were against me and the sandstorm appeared, which really slowed down my movement. Well, you see, once you're on those things, you need to light creatures on fire and absorb their flame, or kill them within 30 seconds to gain taming progress, or you'll get dismounted. Luckily, this Morellatops had a lot of health and it gave me a huge amount of taming progress. And after killing another raptor, it was tamed. So I captured it, then flew back to the trench looking for a high level male. But the only high levels were females, so I went back home, repaired my armor before doing a dino wipe since wyverns were all around the place which was causing egg spawn issues and a little bit of stutter, so hopefully that'll fix. After that I went to the trench again checking pyromane levels and quickly snatched 3 poison eggs before going back home and playing with the pyromane for a bit when a deathworm came up to me wanting the smoke. But it was absolutely no match for my pyromane and I easily killed it. I then started hatching a poison egg hoping and praying that it's a male, and thank God I finally got a male, let's go! As you see, I was genuinely very happy. Now I just gotta wait for it to grow up before breeding my boss army, so in the meantime, I went back in the trench and found a 145 female pyromane. And since I found no high level males, I cancelled on breeding an imprinted one and decided I'll just take this one for caving instead. I dropped it and grabbed a yellow drop with a ring before taking it to the river and getting it tamed. I'm pretty sure by now you'll already know how this goes. I got it tamed, then here's the stat difference. I grabbed an explorer node, then put it on my shoulder before looting a drop on the way back home. It was trash, but now a lot of drops were spawning, and since Scorched Earth is a small map with tons of drops, I decided to go on a drop run. Mainly looting red drops and yellow drops, especially if they have a ring, cause those can have industrial structures sometimes. Well, a lot of them were a major disappointment, but a few were great to be honest. Not the best Scorched Earth drops I got, but not too bad I guess. One drop went in the mesh, so I had to use some sort of dark magic to get it. Also, I got a ton of UT and Rex saddles. I just wish it was on a different playthrough since I'm using wyverns. And the only reason I stopped looting drops was because of the fog, as I couldn't see any drops in the distance. Anyways, once I made it back, I started demolishing the metal structures I got, and let me tell you this, I do not need to go for a metal run at all. I didn't even break the behemoth metal gate yet, and those give an insane amount of metal. I had to make a few more storage boxes cause these items literally took all the space. Anyways, I learned the fabricator as well as the generator and fridge. I do need gasoline to run those, so I flew to the oil extractor for the first time, but kinda had to stop for this red drop with the ring. By the way, if you're wondering why it doesn't have much oil, it's because in single player, whenever you relog, all the oil in the extractor despawns. Same thing for the gas collectors, I'm pretty sure. I got a little caught up with the drops and even waited for this red one to land, but it was a major disappointment. Anyways, I went back, demolished the metal gates, two of them to be specific, and that's a quick 1500 metal. I then started turning oil into gasoline before farming flint with my Anki to make spark powder. I still need to get crystal though, so I took my Anki to a nearby mountain and farmed crystal. After that, I went back and made a fabricator, as well as a generator and a fridge. Also, since the male wyvern is finally fully grown, I let it breed with the 190 female. Okay, so it's about damn time I start doing caves. So I put on my second best armor and start getting ready to go caving on the end of day 3. On day 4, I headed straight towards the first cave on my wyvern, and this drop gave me flak leggings. Exactly what I needed. So after I arrived at the cave, which is inside this temple or some kind, I jumped down with my pyramine and went in. The cave path was pretty much straightforward. I kept getting deeper following the ruins and tried not to fight as Arthros are very capable of breaking my armor in one hit. I eventually reached an open area and there it was, the artifact of the destroyer. I grabbed it and got a pretty cool sword skin before dipping out. Well, that was easy. Very easy, in fact. Well, since the first cave was nothing of a challenge at all, I got on my wyvern and headed straight to the next cave, which is hidden beneath this crack. Once I got in, I got on my pyramine, and just like the first cave, it was pretty easy. I got lost in the first sector, but eventually I found my way to a yellow cave drop, before continuing and quickly reaching a huge drop down, where I had to circle through and do a little bit of parkour before reaching the artifact of the gatekeeper. Once I grabbed it, I checked to make sure if there were drops, but unfortunately nothing was there, so I just left. I got on my wyvern and headed towards the third and last cave, which is supposedly the hardest of them. But first I needed to grab this yellow drop with a ring. I must say though, the cave was pretty hard to find. It definitely took me a bit until I reached the entrance. Once I arrived though, I got on my pyramid and went in. This cave has a small water area and I think Capros can spawn here. Not really sure cause I haven't seen any. And by the way, let me know if you'll prefer when I speed up the footage of caving or when I cut most of it and just show the important parts. Anyways, there it was, the artifact of the crag. This surely is the best looking cave room in this map, and wow, creatures still spawn in the walls here. Typical wildcard. Anyways, I grabbed the artifact of the crag and put on this torch skin. After that, I left the cave and started flying back to base on my wyvern. Also, how can I go back without looting a few drops? Okay, so once I made it back, I started hatching the new poison egg in hopes of getting a male with both the good health and good damage to breed my boss army. The first egg hatched a male and I didn't really expect to get both the good stats in the first try, but Ark proved me otherwise. I guess the game just felt bad for me and decided to be nice for once. I named the mother boss 1, then threw out all the remaining wyverns and let them mate to get eggs and power level my boss army. I set up all the poison and fire wyverns and now all I have to do is raise my army, power level them, then kill 20 wyverns of each kind for their talents to start the Alpha Manticore and kill an Alpha Wyvern. So here's a quick montage for y'all. Okay, whoa, wait a second. Before that, I named my pyramid Melina and the other one Rani. because I literally just finished Elden Ring. That game was absolutely beautiful, man. Okay, now enjoy the rest. Okay, we're ready. Since I killed the Daedon, I gotta tell y'all that I figured out in single player, if you'll put your dinos in the Dino Ball storage, then not just relog but completely shut the game off and get on again, all the dinos in there will get to max HP, so you don't need to heal them. Anyway, since it's almost time, I put on my best armor and kept a substitute set just in case. Then organized my inventory, and that's the end of day 4. Day 5. Okay, my dinos are fully healed, so it's time. I feel like we could have gotten ready on day 3 or day 4 if I speedran this, but hey, I ain't complaining. This isn't really a bad pace. I was planning for this to be a 10 days challenge, but I finished it way sooner than I expected. Anyways, I headed towards the blue orb to start the boss fight, but that place was filled with trees and it seemed a little too crowded. So, change in plans. We're heading towards the red orb. The place here was much more spacious. Before anything though, I drastically reduced my graphics settings cause you know what happens when you're in between 17 wyverns, a manticore, and deathworms all in one place. Anyways, I set up my wyverns and here we go. Yes, nice. We killed them, ladies and gentlemen. There's no challenge that's hard enough for me, bro. And look at that sweet element. Despite this map being old, it still feels like a fresh experience every once in a while. We finally ascended off Scorched Earth after 5 great days. Well, thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. About Genesis 1 though, I provided some information about it in my latest post. And what's a better way to end this video than have the heads of those 2 giant flying lizards hanged up. Have a nice day everyone, and see you all in the next one. Now bye.